I just want to say, like, I came from not a really poor family, but an average family, you know. And my mum was the best thing, really, because my mum was the sort of thing we can do anything. And what she did with us as a family is they would buy a house, do it up, and move up to the next one. And they got themselves to sort of not middle class, but middle level, and they were quite good. But the best thing she taught me was, look, if you want something, if you want it enough, you can go and do it. So I was at school, I messed around a lot at school, I didn't really concentrate. I left with 2 O levels. I know I don't look that old, but I only had 2 O levels. And teachers said you won't get anywhere and things like that. But I always had this thing about me where I felt lucky. I think that's an important thing. Does anybody else feel lucky in themselves? Do they think, oh, I'm lucky? Generally go about that. And does anybody else, is there anyone else who feels unlucky? Like, I won't win that lottery, I won't win a prize, or is there anyone who actually feels unlucky in their life? See, I actually believe that, and I think Darren Brown did a little bit on it, where he convinced people they were lucky and they started to be more lucky. What I would say is it opens opportunities for you that you didn't realise were there. You start to look for them, you start to notice for them, and I think that was what, I didn't even see the programme, but I think that's what it said. So I left school and messed around and did a few different things. And I got my own business, and I'm going to jump quite far forward. I lost my business around about the age of 35, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But I started again, and over the last 7 years, I've built quite a successful business. I employ about 25 people, and I own a share in a business in Spain and a share in a business in Ireland as well. Now, it was only recently, probably a year ago, I started saying, well, what have I done? What have I done right? And when things have gone wrong, what have I done wrong? And I discovered the law of attraction. I'd seen the book The Secret. Has anyone read the book The Secret? So basically, if you haven't read it, The Secret says, if you want it, decide you want it, absolutely believe it's yours, and you'll get it. That's one version of the law of attraction. And I started reading about the law of attraction, and I think there's 2 versions of it. I think there's 2 versions. There's the business guru, kind of Anthony Robbins type, and he'll say, decide what you want, decide exactly what you want, and take massive action to achieve it. And I think a lot of the time in my life I've done that. When I went from a reasonably small business to what I would consider a much larger business, there was just this adrenaline. It was just, I really, really wanted it. There's this real drive there. I look at it now and I think, God, I can't imagine being that driven to get from a small shop into a big warehouse. But at the time, there was this drive there. So part of that law of attraction for me has been that drive. Now, ever since I stumbled on, and I think this is much more relevant to spirituality, is I stumbled on another one which ties in with The Secret. And this idea is, it's not so much that you have to work hard. It's not so much that you believe and then work hard. It's just believe and get in the zone. Now, getting it, just get in the moment, get in the zone. And I think this is the bit that ties into spirituality. So I think it's easy for some of us to go, yeah, I understand law of attraction in terms of deciding and working hard. But this, for me, is a new version of law of attraction. If you've got a business a certain size, it's almost like a gamble, because what they say is just let go and just get in the moment, decide what you want. When my first business went bust, I started listening to the negative phone calls. I was having to take them. It was a small business. You owe us money. You haven't done this. There's rumours going around you. And I started listening to that. And for me, it's the doubt that will finish you off. It's the doubt that will hold you back. It's the doubt that will take you under. If you absolutely believe, if I'd have been protected from those phone calls, now I've got an accounts lady, she looks after all that, and I just go into work and I'm almost in that meditative state and just making the right decisions, not being distracted by stuff, but with this peace and this absolute belief that we will be successful and we will go forward. And it works like magic. I'm not saying it's magic. I'm not saying anything magical's going on, but it feels like it. Has anyone had, when you look back in your life, has anyone had those moments where you bump into someone and then they become your partner or your wife, or you bump into someone in a weird situation and then you and them become best friends? I think everyone's had those moments. And I think those are the moments, for me, it's almost like the universe lining things up for you, and off you go on that direction. Off you go on that path with that new person. I made a couple of notes. Sorry, just give me a minute. So, about getting in this flow. I decided I wanted to do stand-up comedy 3 years ago, and I really wanted to do it. And the first time I stepped on a stage, I played a weird and awkward character, which was very unlike my personality. I got on the stage and I won the night. I was absolutely in the moment. It was pure. It was, it was like just just natural, very, very natural. I went on and won the final 2 weeks later, and I was doing quite well. Then I started listening to all the other comedians, people I didn't know before, and all of a sudden it got more difficult, and the gigs that I'd got, I muddled up a couple of gigs, and all of a sudden, from listening to everyone, I was taken out of that flow into a situation where I was just the same as everyone else. So I think, so with comedy, for me, it's like, there is a flow in comedy. When you're standing there, when you're on the stage, it's like conducting an orchestra and you've got little bombs, and it's like, you know where the joke's going, and you throw the little comedy bomb, boom. It's like, if anyone's played football, it's like that game where you go out and every ball that comes to you, you just seem to pass it to the right player. Every tackle you just make that tackle. And for me, again, that's just about being in the flow. I'll just be about 2 minutes. So my point really today is, if we can get in that flow and get in the moment, I want to try to tie up spirituality. A lot of things that people have talked about today, you know, about being in the moment, about flow, about energy. If we can get them and get in that moment and then tie them into our lives of what we want, then I think we can all achieve really good things. So that's my speech. Thank you.